All right, our first part, ratios and proportions. Ratios could be written three ways. Let's say it's 3 to 4, 3 with the word 2 in between, 4, or like a fraction, 3 to 4.
How would you solve it if it's already?
Well, it's written like this. There's two things I'm going to ask you for it. One is to simplify a ratio. So, for example, if I had 21 to 30, what do you do is take out what's in common between the two numbers, just like a fraction. So the third, I could take out a 3 out of both of these, which would make it 7 to 10. That would be your answer. So one thing you're going to do is simplify ratios. The second thing you got to do is to write a ratio based off a prompt. In Mr. Tobel's class, what?
No, that one doesn't work.
Yeah, we need more to do this.
Yeah, you sound a little down.
There are 5 girls.
Are we talking about the ratio, Mr. T?
And yeah, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 boys. And 6 boys.
Is that actually correct?
You could count yourself. A. What's the ratio of boys to girls?
6 to 5.
What's the ratio of girls to boys?
What's the ratio of girls to the class if the ratio maintained stayed the same? How many boys would there be in a class of 121 students? People, I guess I should say. I'll put it over here. Okay. All right. So these are the type of questions you can get on your test. First one, and Mr. Tuesday.
Zohar, what did you want to name one?
Julia and Zohar, be quiet. So first one is the basic. What's the ratio to boys or girls?
It's a donkey.
So make sure it's 6 to 5. Make sure you do it in the right order. Being in the wrong order will mess you up.
Sorry.
The next one is the ratios to the girls to class. So in this case, how many girls you have versus the total amount. So in this case, it's 11, 5 to 11. If you could reduce it. What are you doing?
She's drawing different types of animals.
Then, if the ratio stayed the same, how many boys would there be in a class of 121? So this is how you do it. You're going to set up a proportion. In our normal situation, there are 6 boys in an 11-person class. We want to figure out how many boys there would be in a 121-person class. So we set up the proportion like this. 6 over 11 equals x over 21.
Where did the 11 come from again?
There's 11 total people in the normal class.
Okay.
So from there, we're going to cross multiply. So we're going to get 6 times 121, which is 7.
It's 726.
26. Thank you. Then that's going to equal 11x. Divided by 11 on both sides.
66.
X equals 66. You will also get proportional questions like this. If I said x plus 2 equals 10, and that equals 35 over 50, Solve for that. Again, it's a proportion, so you just cross multiply.
Then you have to distribute the.
Exactly. You cross multiply. 50x plus 100 equals 350. Subtract 100 on both sides. 50x equals 250 divided by 50 on both sides. X equals 5. So you might also have a proportion like that, okay? That's it for this section.
You actually found things.
I still haven't found $67,000.
You what?
Oh, I was like, why am I impressed right now?
All right,
Sad,
next
sad
one.
kid.
Percents, decimals, fractions. Yeah. So our first one, we're going to go percents to decimal. When you do percent to decimal, you move the decimal point to the left twice. So for example, if I had 72%, what I would do is find the decimal in the percent and move it to the left twice, which would make it 0.72.
Can we get a little more excitement?
Yeah.
6%,
This is really.
I'll give you $7,000 and you're happy.
I'll move it to the decimal point twice. You still have to move it twice, even though it's one number, which means the result of this will be 0.06. And then if I had 32.5%, even though the percent is shown, you still move the decimal point twice. So this will be 0.325. So if percent to decimal is to move it to the left twice, we can figure out that decimal to percent
Right.
is going to be to the right twice. So in this case, if I had 12, I have to find the decimal point, which would be right here, and move it to the right twice. So that'd be 1,200%. If I had 0.7, remember, I still have to move it twice. So that's going to be 70%. If I had 3.02, I still move it to the right twice. So that's going to be 302%. Next one is decimal to fraction. Actually, we'll do the easier one first. Let's do fraction to decimal. So if you want to do fraction to decimal, let's say 3/4. All you do is in your calculator, do 3 divided by 4. And that will result into 0.75.
Now you can give us a little more energy. There's your money.
So then
65,000.
4.2 over 5. If you had something like this, you could still type into your calculator 4.2 divided by 5, or divided by 5. Go ahead.
Tito, I gave you your $65,000.
So
literally
that
right in
is
front of you.
80.84. Yeah, 0.84. So when you do fraction to decimal, it's very easy. Use your calculator. If you're doing decimal to fraction, we're in 2023. So what you could do is if I gave you a decimal, let's say 0.16, what I would do is go to my calculator over here.
Math frac.
Then I'm going to click option math. And then the first option automatically is frac. I forgot, I got to put the number in first. So 0.16, math frac. I got 4/25. By the way, that's correct. So 4/25. If I do 3.21, I go to the calculator over here. 3.21, math frac. Gives me 321 over 100.
Don't simplify them, do you?
The calculator will automatically as simple as possible.
Right.
So you don't have to actually do anything. All right, last relation is what? Percent to fraction. Now, percent to fraction is a weird one. So percent to fraction, there's how I'm going to do it is if you got a percent.
This is the one over 100, right?
Yep, 32%. Remember, 32% is the same thing as saying 32 over 100. That's already written as fraction. Simplify as much as possible. 16 over 50, 8/25. So percent to fraction, you just put it over 100. That's all you do basically. But fraction to percent, let's say you had, we'll use 8/25 as an example. What you're going to do, it's going to equal, percent is, stop talking, is x over 100. So from there, we're going to multiply over here. Emma,
800.
don't get kicked out twice.
I was never kicked out.
Out of your father's room or whatever you said. Office. So, divided by 25 on both sides. 4, 8, 32. So 32 equals x. So that means you have 32%. So fraction to percent is the hardest one, but they're all pretty basic.
That's it? Or
Yeah, for that. Mark up, mark down. All right. So in this section, let me get some questions from the book because I want to see how they actually read it. So for example, first thing it will ask you is just what are percentage of certain numbers? For example, what is 48% of 24? So what you do is in your calculator, you do 24 times, you can't put percent in your calculator, so you put it as a decimal, 0.48
wait, 24
times 0.48, 11.52. Okay, so first off, it'll be asking you for a percent of a thing.
Now you just have to move the decimal over.
No, the answer will give you a decimal, which is what you want. All right. Now, the second question is going to be I guess, kind of like a word problem when we write it out. So, for example, a store buys socks from the manufacturer from a wholesaler at 50 cents a pack. They sell it at $2.25 a pack to customers, to people. What is the amount marked up and the percentage marked up? So for this one, we're first given a first value, 0.50. That's our initial value. We know the store takes it and sells it for $2.25. So I'm asking for the amount marked up and the percent markup. The amount markup is literally the difference. So we're just going to do $2.25 minus 50 cents. You'll end up getting $1.75. So $1.75 is the amount markup. So how much money they make per pack of socks. So what is their percentage based off what they invest? So what we're going to do is we're going to do 1.75 and we're going to divide it by our initial amount. How much did we pay for it? 50 cents. So we do 1.75 divided by 50.
That's 3.5.
Good. 1.75 divided by 0.5 is 3.5. But remember, I said what percentage.
So now you have to move it over?
So because I'm asking for a percentage, I move it over twice, which means this becomes 350%. So for every dollar they put into the sock, they make 350% of it.
Yeah.
That's a great markup.
Yeah.
Yes, it is a credible markup,
How
actually.
would you know? Do you have experience?
Yeah, I'm
All right. Next one,
Project.
simple interest.
That's stocks.
Simple interest. The formula for simple interest.
Wait, that was, we didn't do, wait, that was, what about markdown?
Oh, markdown is just the opposite. So if I said,
Can you give us one?
sure. Let's do markdown. So a store puts their socks on sale. Usually, I cannot spell usually. Whatever. Usually, it's $2.25 a pack. Now they are selling it at $1.50. Yeah, I'll turn back on. What is the amount?
Sarah, give it a nice smack.
Thank you. You got it.
Sarah, you did.
What is the amount
Yeah.
that? What I was about to say. What is the amount marked down? AKA how much you're saving, and the percent marked down. So the amount marked down again, it's just the literal amount between the two. So 225 minus 150, that's 75 cents. So amount marked down is just literally subtraction again.
Instead of 50 cents, do 150.
That's a different
Really
problem.
different
So
problem.
yeah. Now the percent markdown is 0.75 of your original price to 25. Now what you find in this case though is a little different. Actually, here's the easier way to do it. Let me do it this way. No. What we're going to do instead is you're going to put the amount you're actually selling it for. The reason is I want the percentage of how much this is left over. If I put 0.75, that's how much I reduced it.
And also, it gives you like 0.3 repeated.
That makes sense though.
Yeah.
Well, this will be 0.6 repeating then. Well,
Yeah, 0.67 repeated.
all right. So this is, we could say 2/3 or 66.6% repeating. So that is, let me explain both portions.
That was 0.66.
You gotta make it a percent.
Oh, because you moved it over.
Yeah.
Okay.
And this is 33.3 repeating.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me talk about the difference of these two. This here is the amount you're paying, and this is how much it's marked down. So if I ask what percent is the customer paying, you would say 66%. If I asked what's the percent marked down, it would dropped 33%. So this case will be your answer,
So
okay?
if you said marked down, you would do 0.75.
Yes.
If you said, what is the amount marked down?
What
as-
percentage is the customer actually paying? Or something like that, along this way.
Wait, this
When I say paying, it would be the other
33.3%
one.
is like the total.
That would be the percent you're saving. You could save 33% on this. That's what basically would be written on the sale price, okay? All right. Simple interest.
Can you post like examples from both?
Sure. So, simple interest. The formula for simple interest
What's
is
the PRT?
Mhm.
Yeah.
interest.
PRT.
Did I say A or I? One of
Oh,
them.
okay, when we did it.
It's I. So
We did-
because that
we-
would be the
'cause
interest.
We did A equals in parentheses. We did A equals P in parentheses 1 plus R over N. And
Oh, okay. So this is we're gonna do I for this. So the interest you're paying is PRT. Yeah. Hmm? It's I. It's I because that will find the interest. And if you want to know the amount
Oh, A
paid,
was amount.
yeah, A is the amount. It's the principal you paid plus the interest you accrued. So, for example, Mr. Tobel takes a loan for
$6,000.
let's say 10,000 to keep the numbers easy.
$67,895.
$10,000.
Get to the dark side.
He is going to pay
Off house. I'm so sorry.
6% per year he
This one you
will
have to fix the percent to decimal.
yes he will have the loan for 3 years. How much interest does he need to pay? So for this one, we do $10,000 is your principal amount because that's how much I'm taking.
What happens when you're doing not simple? Let's say you're doing the amount. You have A, P, R, and T. Amount
I'll do that next, okay?
P wouldn't be the amount then, right?
P is the amount in total that I pay back.
And amount is just the amount you have in.
Yeah. R is going to be the rate. That's usually in a percent. Remember though, we don't do math with percents,
0.06.
so we have to change it as a decimal, 0.06. And our time is in years. So I said 3 years, that's just 3. If I said 6 months, you have to make sure you convert that into years.
When you on the homework, you did
Yeah.
you wrote something like
Unconditional?
That. Yeah, I had to look it up.
It just means there's no.
No, it said you wrote on the homework when I can't remember the
Oh. So here I would just type this in the calculator, 10,000 times 0.06
Here, you wrote,
times
you
3.
wrote compound you wrote compound annually, whatever.
Oh,
And then I had to
quarterly, that's for the next section. That's
yeah,
for complex interest.
I had to look at some
Yeah, that's fine. We'll talk about that.
some thing that came up with all the options.
Mm-hmm.
And then I think it came out to just one.
So 10,000 times 0.18, I just times these together. Move this down twice. So 18, and I'll lose 2 zeros. 0, 0.
Well, you did 10,000.
Yeah, that makes sense. $1,800 is paid in interest. So I paid in interest $1,800. How much did the bank get back after 3 years? It'll be $1,800 plus the $10,000 I initially borrowed. So they got back altogether $11,800. It is. I've been offering people to become the bank.
Wait, why'd you do 10,000 times 0.18?
Times 0.18? I did 0.06 times 3. And then I did it because I'm doing it in my head.
You didn't do it all in one?
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Because I'm doing it in my head, I did it like that. But if you type it in calculator, you don't have to do
Yeah, I
it.
just got confused.
Yeah. All right. Our next one is compound interest. The formula for compound interest.
From the question before, that was
Yeah.
just, the answer was just 1,800?
Yes.
But then why do you have to add the 10,000?
I'm just saying, if I asked how much you paid back in total, like how much did you wrote a check to the bank for, it would be
How much you
11,800 because I got to pay back the original amount I borrowed too.
Wait, how much? If you asked how much you got paid,
How much the bank got paid technically? Because or how much I paid.
and then the 11,000 would you just add the.
You just add the two numbers. The principal they gave me, I got to pay it back plus interest. You know what I mean?
Okay.
All right. Our compound interest formula. The amount equals the principal 1 plus r over n to the power of nt. N is so the difference in this one, n is included, which is the number of times per year. All right. R is still rate, T is still time. Oh, it's plus. I wrote equal sign there. All right, guys, stop talking. So, here's an example question. Mr. Tobel borrows.
No, oh my god.
We'll do 10,000 again. Let's do 12,000 because I accidentally typed it. 12,000 for 5 years, paying. Let's do 10%. 10%.
Wait, can we do this by ourselves?
No, I want to do it for the video this way. If the interest is paid quarterly,
That's 4.
can I spell quarterly? Quarterly.
You need a U.
Quarter.
No, UA.
Sarah, one more about right.
420.
I wanted
No,
to.
no, 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 you need
You
an
have
A.
to.
No.
Wait, that worked. Quarterly.
Yeah.
Yeah, quarter with LY. He was right.
What? No, I said not an A.
But one is
If the interest is paid quarterly, how much interest?
That's what I do.
How much interest will be paid in total? So we're gonna do the principal amount. Oh, this is not interest actually. How much will be paid in total actually? Not interest, just everything actually. All right. So the amount will equal our principal, which is 12,000 this time, times 1 plus our rate. Remember, it has to be decimal, so 0.1. Divided by how many times it happens per year.
4, and then you
So
just do
4.
5 times.
5 times 4 on top, or 4 times 5 on top.
Yeah.
So if I were to make this a little bit neater, it'll be 1,200. 1.025 to the 20th power. Which type that in the calculator.
You gotta stick the whole thing in the beginning.
I could type in the whole thing in the beginning, which I will do in the calculator just to show it how it would look. So 0.1 divided by 4, close parentheses, to the power, 4 times 5. I'm going to type that as 20 though, just to make sure there's not a problem.
That's not big, right?
It is, because you got to think about it. I'm paying an additional $7,600 to the bank. So like the bank made $7,600.
They can like charge you compound interest. They can charge you compound interest.
Can they charge you? No. When you do what is called a amortized loan, which is where you pay principal and interest at the same time, you don't get compounded interest in that case. But if you have it in a bank account that where your amount is re-looked at each time, that's compound interest. But your interest is already calculated throughout the whole year. Like, it doesn't change. Your payment is the same. Otherwise, because your debt gets smaller and smaller, your actual payments should be getting smaller and smaller as it goes, if they were to recalculate. But they calculate all the way through the same thing. And it makes sense for most people to just do it for the same thing. So that's how much money I would pay back. Hey, Jonah, good to see you back.
And that was it? That was the last thing?
Yeah, that's the last thing.
Okay.